Okay, so thank you for watching those short videos. I am hoping to sort of wrap a few things up in this video, but before I get to some sort of takeaway messages, I do want to point out a couple other things. I did state in one of the other videos that it is important to continue with routines. I also think that it may be an opportunity, this COVID-19 sort of social distancing may be an opportunity to try new things that we can implement into a daily routine. And what I mean by that is you may be able to start doing things that may be beneficial long term, or even once social distancing is complete. And so one of the things that I often will encourage families that come to work with me is to try and implement things like relaxation or breathing exercises with your kids. Now, oftentimes parents will tell me that doesn't work, or they have difficulty in knowing how to implement that. And so one of the recommendations I often tend to make is to try and to embed it within an existing routine. So for example, if you have a bedtime routine, you do a bath or reading a story, or maybe if your child is older, maybe you're just coming in to check up on them. This would be an ideal time to maybe try and do a 2-minute relaxation video where the child starts to do something that allows them to settle down for the night. In a longer term, you're teaching them very valuable skills in terms of regulation of their body, and being able to use that. The more you do it on a daily basis, the better you become at being able to tap into those skills. So that's something to just keep in mind. The other thing I wanted to point out is I imagine that a lot of families are sort of loosening some of the maybe parameters that they've had with technology use. I still want parents to keep in mind that you want to continue to enforce certain rules that you've had from before COVID-19. So for example, if kids are using technology, it's in a place where family members are present, you're still monitoring what they're doing online, and you're still having all those things that allows them to be safe in their technology use. And so just one thing to keep in mind there. Okay, finally, just to wrap up, one of the videos that I'm going to also link to is some tips from Russ Harris, who's a big name in acceptance and commitment therapy. I do like the video. It gives you some quick little tips as to how to deal with COVID-19. I do want to finish off with just addressing parents. I have to be honest. I myself am a parent. I also work for the Toronto Catholic District School Board, and so I do sort of understand not only some of the anxiety and angst that exists with the COVID-19, but also with all this disruption to everyday life in school. I'm hoping to just finish off with this a little bit of an encouragement with parents out there to take the time to acknowledge how difficult this may be for you. And it doesn't matter if you're a teacher who's struggling to do educational exercises with your children, or if it's a mental health professional who's struggling to deal with the emotional responses that kids are displaying. It doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. This is a difficult time. And so I would encourage you to sort of allow for periods of reflection and to acknowledge that you're experiencing some of this anxiety and fear, which is completely normal, and to be able to not push that necessarily away. Acknowledge that you're experiencing that, and also to be kind to yourself. That this is a difficult time, and I may be struggling, and just acknowledging that, and maybe saying some kind words like "and I'm doing my best" can hopefully help you guys cope with what's going on. The final thing is just a message about the idea of community. One of the interesting things to me about this COVID-19 is that this is a shared experience. Years from now, when someone talks about living through COVID-19, for a lot of us, we'll be able to understand at least aspects of what that was like. And so I want you to think about that you're not alone, that we're working on this together, the community, not that the world is working together on this. Not only Toronto or Ontario or Canada, but the world is working on trying to flatten the curve. And I think it's also a really good message to sort of give to your kids, this idea that they're not the only ones that aren't going to school, or maybe had their parties canceled, or had a trip over March break canceled. It's also important to acknowledge to them that they are part of a bigger community that is working together. So my final thing is just keep in mind, we're working together by staying apart. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself. And again, I encourage feedback of any kind. Thank you.